Hi guys, Kevin here and welcome to a new review. So today I'll be reviewing the AAXA or AAXA P6X Pico Projector. So Pico has been a word that describes these small projectors, and Pico literally means a combining form meaning 1/1,000,000th. But actually the origin of the word Pico comes from Spanish meaning peak, beak, or bit. And how I would use Pico in a sentence: you place meat on a tortilla and add lettuce, chipotle sauce, or your sauce, whatever kind you like, and pico de gallo and sour cream. So pico de gallo, so that's where the Spanish comes in. So in this case it means bit or small, and you can see here it is very small. So it does fit in your hand. It's about 1.8 pounds. So compared to a conventional or traditional projector, this is definitely pico, definitely small. So it's definitely a little bit of a projector. So the unique thing about the P6X is it has a contained battery, so 15,000 milliamp battery that you can see in the bottom. There's some screws holding it in, and it does have a tripod stand. So that's very convenient because it does come with a mini tripod, and that's one of the ways that you can just set it up. You can set it on a tripod, you can put it on a table. It's not generally meant to be mounted upside down like a traditional projector, so you can't really mount it like that. But mainly because it is so portable, you can bring it to your office, you can bring it to outdoor party, you can bring it anywhere you like and just project on the wall, and you can use the self-contained battery. You can also plug it in. Obviously it comes with an AC adapter, but the idea is you can have a good time with it and a portable time with it and just bring it with you camping, etc., to the office for meetings. And it's a very quick and easy way to set up and just project your meeting or the show or whatever you want to watch. So inside the box you also get obviously the projector. You get a very small remote that has some very useful buttons, and this does just take a standard watch battery in the back, which is included. It's the standard CR2025 battery, so just one of them. So very small and light, very easy to lose. You also get an AV cable, so you can plug this in directly to the projector, and these three would go to your traditional older style monitors or TVs. You get a user guide, and you do get a mini tripod, which is very cute. So you can set it up just like that, and you can screw it on right here on the bottom. So very light, very easy, very portable, and it does extend a few more inches. So on that remote it includes your power on and off. You can also select your source such as HDMI. You have your navigation buttons for up, down, left, and right, your main menu, your volume up and down. You have your keystone adjustment for up and down. There is no horizontal keystone, only vertical, so that you can adjust right on the remote. As well as you have the stop, play, pause, rewind, fast forward button for the media player. And also you have some general buttons on the top that you can use for the same functions. So direction pad, input, exit or back, on and off, etc. So the specs for the projector: it's a native resolution of 1280 by 800, which is WXGA. The brightness when plugged in is 1100 LED lumens. And when on battery, it brings it down to 1000 LED lumens. And if you drop it down to eco mode, then it goes down to 400 LED lumens. And if you convert the 1100 LED lumens of light, that's measured at about 698 ANSI lumens. So that's generally the standard measurement for projectors. The throw ratio is 1.2 to 1. Contrast ratio 2000 to 1. The noise from the fans, there's two fans, approximately 30 decibels, probably a little bit louder than that. It does have manual focus. So you can see on the side here, it's a very sensitive wheel, but it's a very small one you can adjust for your focus. And I should mention, with the WXGA resolution that it has, it's using OSRAM LEDs for red, blue, and green that are rated to last 30,000 hours. Those are shock resistant, mercury free, and they fire up virtually instantly, so it never needs a lamp change. And the light from the OSRAM LEDs are bounced then to the 0.45-inch digital light processing or DLP imaging chip. So it doesn't use traditional bulbs. I'll show you the projector that I've had for many years. That one is a DLP projector using bulbs, and we'll compare it to this one, which is LED but also uses that DLP imaging chip. So that's where you get the resolution of 1280 by 800 and an aspect ratio of 16:9. But this can also work with 1080 streams, just it'll bring down the resolution to 800 essentially. So the actual image can go from 16 to 160 inches. So that's your maximum, is 160 inches. The audio from the built-in speaker is 4 watts. You also have a headphone jack. There is USB, so you can plug in, for example, a memory stick up to 64 gigabytes. And it also has micro SD, which is a little hard to see, but you can see it right there. That's a micro SD card slot as well. The dimensions of the actual projector are 6.25 by 6.2 by 1.85 inches, and weight is 1.81 pounds. Power consumption 52 watts. The supported formats, so you can use MP3, so you can play music, or WMA, or OGG, or WAV, and then for movies you can use AVI, and in pictures, BMP, JPEG, GIF, and also text files. So if you are thinking of using this for an office presentation, you can't use office files, you have to use text files instead. So battery is 15,000 milliamps. You can also charge your cell phone, etc., other devices using this as a power bank. And there it says runtime on standard mode is 90 minutes, runtime on eco mode is 240 minutes, and the power bank option gives you 5 volt 2 amps up to 10 watts. Then your I/O ports, you have the HDMI, you have the composite AV using the 3.5 millimeter jack and the adapter that I showed you. You have the 3.5 millimeter stereo headphone jack, and as I mentioned, the USB and the SD card slot, which is micro SD. There you can see the ports that I was mentioning, the on-off switch and the charge. There's your focus. Also on this side gives you your LEDs, so you're 100%, and it goes down by 25% as your battery goes down. Also the speakers on this side, so on the back. Here's the 2 fans I mentioned, and that's the front of the unit. So now let me show you the picture from this projector. So here's one example of how you can set up the Fire Stick on the projector. Here I just have the Fire Stick plugged in directly to the HDMI port, and then the power just into the USB port. I know this is frowned upon by Amazon, but it does work. Now I'll show you how quickly it turns on. So I'm going to turn it on and project it on the screen. So just a few seconds and you're into the menu. So that's more or less how it looks like with the Fire Stick hooked up to it. I'm about 9 feet back from my screen, which I think is 120 inches. So the colors I think is pretty good. The brightness is fairly good. This is with my room lights on. That's with it off. So definitely watchable. I can tell that it doesn't have 1080p quality, but for me it's definitely the size of it and everything, because it is a Pico projector. It's still very impressive for its size. I'm just going to show you a YouTube video. So here's a 4K video that's running at 1080p because the projector can't do 4K, so no point in showing you 4K, but you can see the picture is quite good. And for volume, I'm just going to turn it up a little bit. And the volume is as you expect. It's a 4-watt speaker, so it can't do a lot, but still it projects sound. It's enough, especially if you're in a small room. We've even done this in a tent before, even in the basement. For us also, we're going to enjoy this in the camper. We're going to bring it along with us and use it at night, etc. I think it's going to be very good for that. So the portability, I think, is the biggest factor. The picture, the sound, it's not going to be a full-blown projector experience, but still, for its size, it's very impressive. Now this is also with my BenQ projector on. I'm just playing some Nintendo Switch, so you can see the game there. Also in the background you can see the faint picture of the Pico projector showing some landscape. So just to give you an example of some brightness, it is definitely no slouch. And this is probably about a 5-year-old projector now that I'm using. But this is our primary projector for just viewing media, so video games, the odd movie here. And this is DLP with lamp technology, similar to a cinema, versus this Pico projector, which is using LED and the DLP imaging array. So now I'll give you another example of just showing it in a more well-lit room, playing a file off the USB stick. So here's another example of just using it during the day. This is about 1:30 in the afternoon, a bright sunny day. I'm right beside a window. I just have it on the tripod still. This is what I do sometimes with my boys, just to watch some cartoons, etc. So I plugged in a USB. These are with AVI files, so I just go to Movie, choose my thumb drive, and here's all my movies. And there you go. It's really viewable. It's still quite bright. This is probably about a 5-foot diagonal screen picture still, so it's very large. My birds are making noise, but there's just another example. It's on a gray wall, so it's not a white wall. Still looks great, and the colors are still really good, even in the daylight. So very impressive for this size of projector. And just to show you the menu options, we have sound. So you can select balance, auto volume, surround sound, which just gives a slight adjustment. Still only a 4-watt speaker. Here you can just select your language or do a factory reset. Here's your picture mode, so I have it on vivid. You can also change that to standard, and you can see how it adjusts the contrast. So 50/50 brightness, color 50, so everything basically 50. And then soft brings it down a little bit more for the contrast, the color, and the sharpness. Or you could also select your own. I'll just leave it on vivid, which gives you 70 contrast, 60 brightness, 50 color, 60 sharpness, and 60 tint. And you also have your brightness. So this is eco, so it dims it down quite a bit. This is still on battery, but this will give you the longest battery life. So maybe if you're outside in the dark, or it's really dark environment, this will be still an option if you want to preserve that battery life. You can change your color temperature. So that's medium. That's 50/50/50 for red, green, blue. Warm would raise up your red, bring down your blue. You could also change it to custom, or you could do cool, where it brings down your red, brings up your blue. Aspect ratio, you can change it also to 4:3 or 16:10. You could also do a slideshow, so if you have pictures, you can also change your projection from front, behind, invert, or invert behind, depending what kind of screen you have. And then software update. Then for your media menu, you have movies, which I just went to. There's your music if you have MP3s, etc. There's the settings, which I just went into. Your input source, that would be either digital input like HDMI or AV. Brightness, there you can just do a quick change of it. So if you are plugged in directly with power, you could also use brightness. Then if you have photos also. So fairly basic menu. This doesn't have Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, but just that example that I showed with using a Fire Stick or just your downloadable media that you have on a stick, USB or micro SD card, is also a really good option. So that's the AAXA or AAXA P6X Pico Projector. So the price of this unit is $359. So if you're looking at more information about this projector, you can go to their website, which is axatech.com. They also have a lot of other projectors, including 4K, a lot of other Pico projectors, as well as some refurbished projectors for less of a cost. But I think for this one, $359 is a really good deal. You're getting a lot for that. You're getting a nice, bright, portable projector that you're able to bring along with you. So if you're looking at that option like us for camping, for meetings, for just bring around the house for kids to watch, it's a really nice option for that. And just to have a bit more volume, you could plug in a little bit of a different speaker if you like, just to have a bit more of a loud sound. But I think in a smaller room or just in your house especially, the included speaker is just fine. But if you are bringing it outside, I would probably plug it into something a bit more powered, because the larger the space, the more sound you're going to need to project. But it's just a fun unit to play around with. I've used projectors for the past quite a few years and I've really enjoyed them. But just to have that portability and battery powered option is just a nice option too. So for me, I think this is a great buy. So links in the description if you are interested in this one or others. You can definitely check out their website like I mentioned. And if you haven't checked out my Rumble channel, you can definitely do that. You can also check out my Instagram and Twitter. And if you haven't subscribed, you definitely should. More content coming. Also, you can check out my previous videos. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.